Hello and welcome to Bounding Into Comics. My name is John Trent. I'm the founder and editor-in-chief at Bounding Into Comics, and I'm joined by our associate editor, Spencer McCooley. How's it going?
Hey, going well. Yourself?
Yeah, it's going great. We're going to be talking about this recent comic, Fantastic Four. What is it? Life Story number
Fantastic
2.
Four Life Story.
Yeah, number 2, and a cameo by Captain America in that when he's participating in the Vietnam War during the 1970s. And there's been a couple perspectives already published out there, one from Screen Rant and one from the Post Millennial, both with different interpretations of how they view what happens in this comic. I think that's there are a lot of interpretations. So there's literally like 4 panels, I think, total.
If that.
so there's a lot of people just kind of, from my perspective, I think there's just a lot of people just reading into it. I'm trying to see what's happening, and I think it's personally I think it's quite ambiguous, and so it's not really clear. So you can get different interpretations of what it is actually happening. So I see we've got Mercale, Emperor of Corruption, here in the chat. He says I'm first. Hello, Mercale. How's it going?
What up, Lobster?
Drew, Supreme Heretic is here with us. Beware the Drew. He says, "No, you're not, Mercale. Sit down."
First in the chat, that counts.
Buddy with the keyboard says, "Hi." Yeah, sorry we started a little bit late. I did have this scheduled for 3, but the baby daughter has not been cooperating. So hopefully we'll be able to get through this without some cries. We'll see, because it is right around her bedtime. I was hoping she would be taking a nap right now and would be good to go. But she's resisting nap time. So she wants to stay away.
She's already entering that teenage defiance stage.
Yes. She has a big case of fear of missing out. She's like, I have to stay awake. There's something that's going to happen.
Everything's going to happen. I need to know. I'm going to remember all of this forever.
We also have Will Killed Snake 07 is here.
Oh, what's up, Will?
He's on giving us an update on The Last of Us. 3 new cast members hired for HBO's Last of Us. 1 actor who worked on the game. Yeah, I know we didn't get to that. We didn't get to that article. Hopefully, we'll still be able to get to that maybe sometime this week. The race swap article. It's in the pipeline. I just got to figure out where it is exactly. Pipeline. And then we've got Luis Morales is here as well.
What up, Luis?
I Am Not Starfire. Yep, we'll have an article about that as well coming up. So look for that. I think Spencer was also people were wanting you to do a live read. So
I will be doing a live dramatic reading reaction on this channel when that book drops, because I already want to do one, and there's only been 1 page released.
Yeah, so look for that possibly. It will be censored, obviously.
Yes, absolutely.
So we'll be for the young adult audience that book is targeted towards.
Yeah, right.
All right, so let's get into this Captain America story. So I did an article before we went live here, got it up on the website. So we're going to pull that up about this. Never gives me. It's like I have to go screen 1 instead of it's got the other one open.
Of clicking the actual window, it does that to me too.
Yeah, some of them it has the window open, and then others it's not there. So I don't understand what's going on. I'm thinking it might be here. It is. I think it's this one. But no, see, that's not it. That's not what I want to do. Now it's the only options are allow or block, and I don't want to show any of it. So. I don't know. Oh, I can switch off of it. Okay, I think I'm just gonna have to go here to screen 1, and then do it that way. So you might see pop-up notifications. So I don't know. It wasn't working. Here we go. I gotta close that. Yeah. All right. So yeah, this was the headline that I came up with. The Captain America betray the United States during the Vietnam War and kill American soldiers. That was claims from Screen Rant and the Post Millennial. So just to provide some context, Fantastic Four Life Story number 2 is written by Mark Russell. This is terrible grammar right here. It should be with artwork. That's my fault. There should not be an and there. With artwork by Sean Izaakse. The story follows the Fantastic Four and other Marvel heroes during the 1970s. It's primarily a Fantastic Four story. And like you said, there's a couple cameos from some other characters. We get we get Black Panther, Namor, and Captain America. Those are the main ones. But here's the official description of the book from Marvel. Story of the Fantastic Four's lives in real time continues. Set in the 1970s, the heroes struggle to find their role in a rapidly changing world. I think that's a weird description too. The story of the Fantastic Four's lives in real time continues, but then it's like set in the 1970s. It's like,
yeah, what? It's because the books go like it's just like with Spider-Man's life story.
Right,
it goes like one issue, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
it's actually a better way to do these comics.
No, I mean, I'm pointing out the fact that it's like in real time, where it's like, no, it's you're going in the past, like to 1970s. It's not what's happening.
I get what they're saying.
2021. So in the 1970s, the heroes struggle to find their role in a rapidly changing world. Sue continues to fight for social causes. Yeah, she's a huge feminist. She gets her book signed by, what's her name? The person who wrote the Feminine Mystique.
Yeah,
Betty something.
Something. I always forget her name. And that's probably problematic that I don't know it off the top of my head. But yeah, I don't remember off the top of my head.
The only reason why I even recognize her,
Betty Friedan.
The only reason why I even recognize that name is because of that FX drama that they did with Friedan and what's her name? It was like the people who published Miss, and then the Republicans who pushed back against it.
Yeah, I forget what that.
It's called Miss America.
Mrs. America. Yeah.
Yeah. Sue continues to fight for social causes while Reed becomes increasingly obsessed with preparing for the impending arrival of Galactus, creating tension with the Four. While the story predominantly focuses on the Fantastic Four, there's a brief moment where it gives us a glimpse at what some of the other Marvel heroes, including Black Panther, Namor, and Captain America, are doing during the 70s. Black Panther is stopping Claw from like extorting like this African nation. He's like basically put them in debt and then is like coming to call on the debt, and basically he wants to take over their diamond mines or something like that. So he wants to just basically take over the country's main resource of wealth through debt. And actually, I thought that was a good take with Black Panther coming in, giving them some vibranium to pay off.
Vibranium and being like, get out of here,
get off. And then what he needs to do though, he also should have there should have been one part where he like gives the guy advice. He's like, maybe you shouldn't be going into debt to these people who are trying to like extort you, and be a little bit more responsible.
Teach them that lesson too. Lessons all around.
Responsible you're dealing business with. But this is I actually thought that was pretty good. But they should have had that extra little bit that's just missing, that like makes it so they're not preaching at you, and they're actually like maybe it's providing a moral, but it's like set within that world. Because like he would also be like, dude, why am I having to bail you out? Like Black Panther, but like that's what Black Panther would be doing, right?
I don't feel I don't. Maybe if they did it like the MCU way, where Wakanda is super like isolated, but clearly, he's out in the like world right now, talking about vibranium and giving it away. So that makes sense to me for T'Challa. But
no, I don't have problems with him giving it away. I have problems with the fact that he's not chiding the other guy, being like, "Hey,
chiding the other guy is definitely what he's doing." Yeah,
the guy who was like got in bed with Claw in the first place.
So that Claw's or whatever, I think it's
the leader there. Yeah. So, so then here, this is where we get to this. Like I said, it's literally 2 panels really, and then the third one switches to Namor, but we do get the more of Sue's voiceover. So we get this voiceover from Sue Storm. She's basically the narrator of the entire book, at least this issue, and so. But yeah, I guess I didn't include the top panel. So there's another panel up here that says, before this, that says the world was a mess, so heroes started acting on their own, doing whatever seemed right to them. Because when you can't trust those in charge to do the right thing, who else is there? With Captain America, he's writing. I guess it's right there. Part of it is right. I just don't have the part where the world was a mess. So heroes started acting on their own.
You got pretty much everything else.
Yeah. And so then Captain America is like riding on his motorcycle in Vietnam, which I just thought was hilarious. He's just riding through the jungles, Vietnam, on his Harley Davidson. I don't know. I just thought that was funny.
Right. It's just giving him a bike. They know that Captain America rides a bike, so here's a bike.
Yeah. So he comes upon an American soldier as 3 individuals captured and held at gunpoint. You can see him right here. 1, 2, 3. Soldier's got his gun aimed at him. Terrible way of holding the firearm with one hand,
like one arm over there.
It's like absolutely
and his
terrible.
Like wrist is bent. Oh man, he pulls that trigger once, he's gonna snap his wrist.
It looks like I can't even tell, like, is his hand even on the Yeah, I guess it is kind of on the where the trigger would be, because I don't know. It's like it's weird because like it's hard to tell where the I don't know.
I almost feel like
I'm not a huge gun expert, but
I feel like the colorist almost might have colored in the oh my gosh, the trigger. Like the guard and the trigger spot, and that's what his other thing is supposed to be. Yeah. Yeah,
and then the ammo and where the ammo is supposed to go.
It's weird.
Because that front looks like it's just like a grip,
right?
Like the way it's drawn, where he looks like he's holding it. He looks like he's holding it where the ammo is. The ammo cartridge is.
It's so weird. Yeah,
it's just weird.
Somebody doesn't know how to draw a gun over there.
Yeah.
Get a reference image, guys. Just Google Vietnam guns.
Yeah. So then Cap shows up, or this guy says, "Hey, Cap." So Cap's pulling up. The guy says, "Hey, Cap, you're just in time. We got these." And then he basically doesn't say anything else because Cap like jumps off his bike and like chucks his shield at him, knocks his helmet off, knocks him down, and that's it. That's all there is to it. That is the like. I guess there's a panel up here that I with the Sue's narrative, but that's basically all the 2 panels with Captain America. There are a couple more later, but they have nothing to do with what's happening in Vietnam. He's like attending a UN panel
with Sue and T'Challa.
Yeah, it's basically just to show how powerful Dr. Doom is.
Yeah,
he's just there. He got fridged, basically.
Blow open the UN.
But yeah, it's like that's all there is to Captain America's brief time in Vietnam, featured in the comic. Hold on. Yeah, as you can see, Slack is popping up. Drew is asking for the link, so I'm gonna send it over to him so he can join us
real quick. What up, Drew?
Yeah, so Screen Rant ran an article. So this comic was like published at the end of June. So it's about a month old now, at least 3 weeks old. But Screen Rant ran an article earlier this week, and they titled it "Marvel confirms Captain America would have switched sides in Vietnam." Like what?
I know, really throwing that out there. That's what took me by surprise at first.
Two panels, and he's just like whacking this guy. I mean, you don't know what's going on. We don't know what's going on. I don't think there's enough context. But to say that he's switching sides is a little much.
That is such a dramatic reading of it.
The only way you could make that explanation is if this book is in the same continuity as Spider-Man Life Story, where you literally have a headline of like Captain America on the run from like U.S. forces, and they're like actually treating him as like a traitor. Yeah, and we'll get to that too because I included that too as reference later on in the article here. But yeah, so they're running this like. There's absolutely no way you could tell that he switched sides, so that's just a patently false.
Yeah,
I mean, you can interpret it that way, I guess.
But like run that headline and say like definitively like he has switched sides. Nah, man.
Yeah, and then writer Joshua Isaac claims Captain America switches sides in the Vietnam War and frees communist prisoners in a story that Marvel wouldn't dare tell 50 years ago. Well, I don't even know who these people are. The guy doesn't tell them. They could be Viet Cong, they could be communist sympathizers, or they could be civilians that have just been caught up in a sting raid or something because the Viet Cong were hiding within their village and they just rounded them up. So you don't even know who these people are, what's going on. The only thing you can think of is if you identify with Captain America, him being the hero, is that these guys have been wrongly imprisoned, right? And something bad's going to happen to them, and so he's trying to stop them. To protect them because they are innocent, which I think is a safe assumption to make.
Right? Yeah, that's the assumption how I personally read it. Like, this is Cap showing up, seeing something wrong, and going, "Nope, we're not having that." But again, how do you draw those ridiculous conclusions from those 2 panels?
How's it going, guys?
Like John said,
what's up, Drew?
It also is ambiguous.
What's
John
up?
and I actually had to talk about this because John saw it one way, I saw it another way, but we came to the conclusion that there really isn't. It's so ambiguous. What conclusion could we draw? We both could be right.
Yeah, and that's like I wasn't trying to draw conclusions. Like I was just pointing out. I was just pointing out like. I have no idea what's going on because there's no context. It could be like interpreted so many different ways because it's like literally 2 panels. They don't tell you anything. And it's just Cap chucking his shield at a guy. And you have 3 random people being held at gunpoint. So like either Cap's wrong, the soldier's wrong. They're both
What's going
they're
on
both
here?
wrong.
Yeah.
Like who knows? This is Marvel, right? These could be like Hydra people or something like that. Like you don't even know.
Yeah, exactly.
They might not even be communists. They're Hydra or something that are like trying to use the situation to like exploit it, just like they were just like they do.
Yeah.
So it's just it's hard to like come to these like radical conclusions like confirms Captain America, whatever. No. But yeah, so like as I said here, like it simply shows a U.S. soldier at gunpoint guarding 3 people dressed as civilians. Like I said, Captain America it could have been the soldier might have been preparing to execute these people, and Captain America was preventing a soldier from committing a heinous war crime. But the comic makes it ambiguous; it's not clear. So this is from Spider-Man. That's a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
That's from 2019. But then, yeah, so then we get the post-millennials Ari Hoffman. He wrote an article titled "Captain America Portrayed as Killing American Soldiers in New Vietnam Era Comic Book." I mean, he's throwing his shield at him, knocking him down, but I don't know. I don't know if that's killing him, and it's just one guy.
It's what he does all the time. He throws his shield at people.
Yeah. So
like, by that logic, he's killed everybody. Like he's a bigger killer than Goku.
And then he's also claiming that these people are communist prisoners as well. Again, I don't even know that.
How do you infer that?
Well,
yes.
I mean,
what do you got, Drew?
This is just to me. This should tell you all you need to know about some of the other press outlets we have online. I mean, because again, it's not any better than what Screen Rant's doing, because it seems like they're trying to weaponize it to almost sympathetic toward a leftist narrative. And, the post-millennial seems to be using this as trying to weaponize it towards, the perceived right point of view. And it's like, it's just, it's just a comic. It's just a comic. I mean, there's no one way or the other about it. It's just a comic. And I don't think... And
I would push back. Yeah. I want to interrupt you for a little bit on that. Like, so it's not just a comic, because, I mean, we've written articles about Captain America and what they've been doing to him, when it's abundantly, like, Spencer just wrote one, 2 weeks ago, about Captain America no longer believing in the American dream. Like, if you're going to make that argument, like, it's just a comic, like, I'm like, no. Like, it's a little bit more than that, because he is a symbol.
Well, like, he is an American icon. I get that.
Yeah, but in like him, like, just abandoning the American dream, that's like... Right. Character breaking.
Yeah, that's character.
But I guess what I'm trying to say here, though, is this is almost like a reach and then a spin on both ends. And, I mean, I think it's as writers, journalists, this is disingenuous writing, because you're making a leap in the way that you're looking at something when there's no real context to it. If you have that few panels, the way that you guys were talking about, and it's almost like you're taking and then jumping ahead with like this wild leap, which you don't know if you're right or wrong, and that's not a good way to write at all.
Yeah, the bigger issue in this comic is actually that Sue Storm is like an out-and-out feminist. That's like getting
I think the dumber moment is the dumber moment is Namor's moment, because he
the ocean thing. It's a little acidy today, or whatever he said.
Like that's fine. The ocean's a little acidic today. Perhaps stay out of it. But then he like this whole thing is about like heroes started doing whatever seemed right to them because the world was going a little bonkers. That's why you have the Vietnam scene, right? And you have the Africa scene.
He goes in the library.
Just read a book. He goes to an American library and specifically picks out Silent Spring, which is a big like ecological like warning book from the 70s, which is fine. Like that the book is fine, but it's so weird that Namor comes out of the ocean and beelines to that. It's so weird. Like Mr. Atlantis does not want human culture at all. Only fought with the Allies in World War II because it was threatening Atlantis. Like complete isolationist knows what to, I don't know. It's such a weird panel to me.
Yeah.
And also, there's sexualization there, but they don't want to talk about
that. Oh, I mean, all of like Namor's, it's all about his body.
Oh, I know.
Through comics.
Every panel is a woman gawking over his body. Yeah.
I mean, chicks
even,
like
even at the end, even at the end with Sue, they obviously set up the Sue Namor romance, but I didn't think I don't think they delivered it very well. In this comic, I don't think you didn't get the payoff of the setup for that. It needed a little bit more. What they do to Sue, what they do to Sue is definitely what the conservatives should have been critiquing in this comic.
Yeah, exactly.
She literally abandons her family, which they actually do show. So I actually like that because Franklin is just like, "Are you kidding me? Reed, his name is Daddy. Like that's my dad." and then she takes him to Namor, and they're like making out while he's walking into the other room, and it's just like, what? You're already shacking up with another guy,
I know, seriously.
like a day later. So that's my personal biggest beef with this one. But
they don't remember, John. The modern comics now are designed to reinforce that idea of like crushing the ideal of the nuclear family. So they're not gonna.
Well, I will also say like. That I thought Russell actually did an interesting job or the artist at least did a really good job of portraying Franklin's like facial features. He was just like completely broken and shattered. That his mom was like, and you just see what it does to him.
Face, yeah.
And then you see Reed is like really depressed and everything too. And so you see how it does affect those characters. So I will say that I actually think it did as much as they show Sue as a feminist. And her, her going off with Namor, I don't feel that was really well written. It does show, I think, some of the problems with feminist ideology. I don't know if that's what they were trying to go for, but you do see it. So it might be one of those Rorschach moments into making the Moral Center Watchmen, and he ends up being the Moral Center Watchman. But yeah, so in Hoffman's piece, he says in Fantastic Four Life Story number 2, Captain America attacks American soldiers in an effort to free communist prisoners held by the U.S. He then cited a anonymous veteran from his like radio show, I guess, that he does, and was saying that like it was a Vietnam veteran saying like this felt like they were attacking veterans again, and they probably didn't read the comics, so I don't know. So again, I said here it's unclear if these prisoners are even communists. It's possible they could be. It's also possible they could be civilians who have been wrongly rounded up. As for Captain America killing the soldier, it's unclear if that actually occurred. We only see him chucking his shield at him and the soldier falling backwards. So again, so this isn't the first time he's attacked U.S. soldiers in Vietnam. Spider-Man Life Story number 1 by Chip Zdarsky, Mark Bagley, John Dell, and Frank D'Armata. Captain America attacks these 3 soldiers that approach a Vietnam village and confront a number of villages in Vietnam in 1967. So here's that. So Iron Man had just like stopped some like a VC raid, I guess, in a village and was getting all the glory. So these guys are kind of glory hounds. And so this one guy saying there's too many. We shouldn't move in until. And then the other guy says, I'm not letting Iron Man steal the glory again. If there's Viet Cong hiding, we'll root him out. And then he goes into the village and he's like, everyone get down, down, down. And then they've got their rifles trained on these villagers. I don't know what that, they say something in Vietnamese. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, that's Vietnamese.
One person says, Sarge, we may have an explosive. It's unclear. It could be a child, could be an explosive, could be, again, it's ambiguous. Like you can't tell here. They're holding it like a child, so you just don't know. It seems kind of weird that they're just in a random village, like lugging around an explosive, though. But
right,
it's a comic, so like I don't know.
But I think that's the point is that it is supposed to be the like I think they are about to just blow away a civilian town.
And then this guy says, "I'm going to." And then Cap shows up, chucks his shield at him, ricochets off all 3 of them. And this guy says, heard you turn traitor. Can't believe I'm seeing with my own. And then Cap says, shut up. You go back and you tell Iron Man, these people, they're under my protection. And then it literally ends. That's the end of the first comic. And then the second comic, you get this little like brief reference to it. Cap's on the run, and Iron Man is in charge.
With a camo
taking on
armor.
the with the camo armor, and I guess that's Giant Man there.
Yeah,
I get with Iron Man, and they're taking on the Viet Cong. To me, that's like a Watchmen reference, honestly.
Oh, I can see that with the Dr. Manhattan like coming.
Yeah,
up
that's a Dr.
the
Manhattan reference.
I didn't notice that, but yeah, I can see that now. I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, so there, you have that too, and again, like I think this one's a little bit clearer. I think there is still room for interpretation because you don't know what's in that package, but I think this one is a little bit less ambiguous. It does look like because you have this guy saying like let's wait, and these guys are like no, it's all about we can't let Iron Man steal the glory, and then they go in to the village and like it's like it doesn't even look like there's any males in the village aside from kids. Like those are kids. This is adults. Hard to tell. These look like kids. So, and then you have them pulling, and then this guy looks like he's definitely maybe about to pull the trigger. He's definitely unhinged. Definitely. He's definitely a little. He's definitely a little unhinged. And I think the reason why that works is because you have this right here. You have this guy here saying, "Let's wait. Let's not go." So you have that other person, like that consciousness, like telling the guy, like, "No, we shouldn't." And then Cap is really there. And I think this could have been written a little bit better. They're under my protection. He should have been. I
think it works.
Like it works, but he could. I don't know. You could have done something like, "Why? What are you doing with these innocent people?" or something like that.
I mean,
it's really hit home.
I think you're asking for too much. Like, lay it all out. I think like if that were me, that would almost be insulting as a reader because it's like I'm reading it and like I can see the imagery, I can see what's going on. I get what's going on here. I know that a Marvel comic is not going to represent Captain America as defending the Viet Cong, unless they were.
I don't know.
Unless they were being. Again, like I thought in the other panel, if he's executing random prisoners of war, defend the Viet Cong because we're not supposed to execute prisoners of war like that extrajudicially. But like this works for me. I think it's just you don't need everything spelled out for you. You can look into it.
No, I know. Yeah, but I mean, if you want to make it clear, you can. But
it is clear.
I can see that, but I could also see that these guys were
right. I know.
Thought that there might be they actually might think that they're VC in these villages,
those guys
and they wanted to search them.
Yeah, that's absolutely what those guys were doing. But you can tell by the guy, stuttering and being unhinged. Like these guys aren't, and the fact that they are glory hounds, these guys are not ready to.
The one guy
they're ready to blow it away.
Yeah, this one guy is at least because you have the other guy saying, "Let's wait for backup." Right. And this guy just seems to be just going along with it, but then he calls Cap a traitor after he attacks him, which is understandable. But yeah, so I don't know. I do see where you're coming from. I totally understand that. I can see how that is taken from, but I also can see the other side where like, hey, these soldiers are doing their job, and this guy might be a little unhinged, but you do have this other guy saying like, let's hold off. And he might be unhinged, but he might have enough discipline where he's still just going to just do a check.
And I get that if this was like a real life situation and we were watching like news footage, but because this was a story that somebody specifically wrote, I don't see that ambiguity. I see this as the guy he's a glory hound, he's unhinged, he's probably about to massacre them. Cap stops the massacre. Obviously, the soldiers and the press are seeing the imagery of Cap saving
attacking the guys.
That's what I mean. Well, like saving the Vietnamese, attacking the Americans, and so they run with that. Which, of course, we all know that Vietnam was huge propaganda and everything. So, like that all just makes sense to me. Like this is how I imagine Cap would actually be if he was actually deployed in Vietnam.
I mean, he would be. I think he would also be rooting out VC too. So
he would absolutely be rooting out VC. But this isn't about rooting out. This is about these specific moments where American soldiers are about to do atrocities.
Like like I said, you can see, I definitely think you can see it that way, but I also think that it can be viewed through a different lens as well.
I mean, I get where the other lens comes from. I just think because this was a pointed story written by somebody, and we're not looking at an objective action out in the world like a news clip, that you can infer, like, do we really think that they're going, like, that's what the story is? We can kind of go like, yeah, this is probably what it is.
What do you got? What are you thinking, Drew?
No. See, this is believable to me because, you know, there were cases of you know, in Vietnam that we know of. If you go back through history, like, because there's a lot of stuff that American soldiers did they regret because you know they went through villages and like burned them, thinking that they were doing something that was, you know, at the time like tactically correct or righteous, and then they realized to their horror afterwards it was not. You know,
some of them didn't even realize that horror. Some of them just went in like the Glory Hound and was like, I want to take them out.
Well, no,
it's that scene from Full Metal Jacket where he's in the helicopter and he's just gunning down farmers.
If you have orders at the time, Spencer, and you know they seem to be tactically sound and everything else.
Drew, I'm not arguing that. I'm saying there's some people who in the aftermath went, wow, I am horrified by what I did. But conversely, you can't ignore the fact that there were some people, like in the scene of Full Metal Jacket, who went out there with the bloodlust and in hindsight are like, nope, I would do it all over again.
Well, yeah, there's that. You're in the middle of war. Your adrenaline's pumping. There's going to be some people that are like, yeah, I want to, you know, kill me some enemies, you know.
But that's different. Those people can also be the same people who like go home later and like, man, I totally got caught up in that. I am horrified. But I'm talking about there are people who go out and do those atrocities and don't think they're doing anything wrong. Say, I'm America. That gives me right to brutalize.
Well, it's the same.
And that's the wrong thing.
It's the same lesson that we've learned over history, too. You know, because there's been so many atrocities in the name of just following orders. Okay,
right.
So you know, it's up to people to have you know what am I looking for here? A moral compass, and know personally their own moral compass. You know, and that's the thing. And sure, a lot of people do lose their moral compass, especially in wartime. But you know, I don't think you have to hold on to that because that's part of your humanity. But as far as this story goes, I think it's believable from the side of you know, Cap preventing an atrocity for sure.
I think that's why I would have liked to have Cap have a little bit of a moral standpoint in that last speech instead of just saying like they're under my protection. I feel like he should be lecturing these guys and being like, "What are you doing? Have you forgot what America stands for?"
Well, like I get that, but like one, it's not a Cap story. Two,
right.
Again, it's giving the readers credit. You got like they're going. We know, like the reader knows what happened in Vietnam. The reader knows Captain America. The reader knows that, you know, he would probably step in to stop atrocities. I don't think like that's what I think is happening here. Like that's.
But I would
situation.
But see, I kind of agree with John here. I would kind of expect, you know, at least something from Cap. Like, what are you doing? We're not killers. It's not what America. It's not what an American is.
You know that as a character, you know that's why he's stopping him. Like I don't like when I watch movies or I read comics or books or anything. I don't need everything spelled out to it because I can infer from what's going around, the characters in the story, the writer, whatever's being told at the time, what is going on. I know it from this story that this isn't a story focused on Cap's ambiguous morality in Vietnam. I know that this is a story about Spider-Man growing up, and I know that this moment is to show, you know, yes, the Vietnam War was bad, and how better to do it in both the 70s for Spider-Man and Fantastic Four than to show that Captain America, this icon, is to the people back home and to the soldiers on the ground a traitor because he's fighting back against the atrocities we all know now were happening back then.
Oh, wow, look at that. Hail. Thank you, Roof Korean.
Roof.
I do want to point this out too. St. Michael of Cigarillo says, I wonder if they're going to mention how the Vietnamese would strap bombs on little kids and have them walk up to U.S. soldiers. Yeah, that's why I say I do think that there's some ambiguity at play there, and that's why these soldiers might be going to this village. So, and I don't, and so hold on. And I think that's, well, I think that's the problem with the writer, with that. He's making out the soldiers, the way it's written is the soldiers are supposed to be looking at it more as a negative, whereas like you could, I mean, like I said, I think you could see it not that way.
Right? You could if this was a real world situation. If we were watching a recorded footage and you didn't know what was going on, yes. But good writers trust their audience to bridge exposition with inference, and that's what's happening here. They know that when I give my readers a picture of Captain America throwing a shield at a Vietnamese soldier or at an American soldier in Vietnam, that American soldier is probably going to commit an atrocity, or they are ready to. Whether they are bloodthirsty or they are, like Drew said, wrapped up in their, in their orders. Either way, that's what you can infer, is that Cap is stopping a crime from happening. Like that. I don't think the ambiguity is there because this isn't an ambiguous situation. The writer wrote this scene with that intention. You could say that about a million different things, and you could infer anything upon a story, but I don't think that's how the story was written.
Okay.
So let me pull this up here. I see we've got $5. What is going on?
Roof Curry in the base.
Two $5 super chats from Roof Curry in the base.
Thanks, Tony.
Does not give us no messaging there, but appreciate that.
Well, he said
this year earlier. I need Bounding to have a live show every day of the week. I only do what John tells me to do in secret messages. What? What secret messages have you been getting from me?
John's controlling you like the Red Skull, Tony. I knew it.
Clean your room.
Yeah, seriously. Clean your room. Read my blog.
Oh man.
Watch my YouTube.
All right. Any last thoughts on this? I don't really have anything else to say. I think I've kind of covered everything I wanted to say.
Yeah, I'll just close this out by saying, so with the Screen Rant view and the Post Millennials view, I don't actually blame anybody for looking at it that way, considering, like John talked about at the beginning, how politicized Marvel has been trying to make Captain America lately, especially with that last issue of the United States of Captain America. So I completely
all of Coates' Cap.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot about Coates' Cap. But yeah, all of Coates' Cap too. So I completely get the readings and I understand them. I think that it's not as radical as both of those outlets are saying. I think this is just a look into that moment in Vietnam, but I completely understand where everybody is coming from. I don't think this is. I think this would be more towards the post. I don't know what this is, but
I put it more, Spencer, and this is my final thought on it. I just put it more on the outlets themselves because again, they're taking a big leap, one way or the other, and it's kind of like it is kind of like one of those reachy articles for clicks. In this case, you can call both of those outlets out for clickbait. Really? Because
which I did.
Because hey, and I mean fair is fair. I mean I'm more of a combination of libertarian and conservative. I have no problem calling out, the left. I have no problem calling out the right when I think that they're in error. I mean, I will, because it's just the way, and even conservatives will call out conservatives. I mean, as conservatives, we had a domestic dispute yesterday, but yeah, I mean, it's just, I look at it as those outlets, it was kind of a reach there on both ends because again there wasn't a whole lot of context in the paneling.
Yeah, no, not a lot of context.
Are you okay? The flies coming for you?
I'm reaching.
What are you? Yeah, I was gonna say, what are you doing?
I was reaching for a point. I was doing my best Screen Rant imitation.
Nice.
I thought you were going after the flies.
Yeah.
They're I have things up now. I have fly traps up.
The zappers or like the sticky ones?
The sticky ones.
Yeah, he's gonna
And
put
the zapper.
zappers.
I got both of them.
He's gonna put zappers in a wood in an area heavy with.
Oh, I thought it might be outside or something. Like, you put like
All my stuff is right out my door.
He's
Yeah.
gonna be like, and caught on fire.
Just catch on fire next Wednesday.
Bunny with a keyboard is. I'm going to close off with this. Bunny with a keyboard says, "I just can't believe they'd have Captain America and Iron Man on alternate sides of an ideological war. They should be careful with that. That sort of thing can cause a civil war."
Perfect.
Thank you all for joining us. Hopefully, we clarified what was going on with this recent
seriously.
Captain America comic that came out in June. Fantastic Four Life Story number 2. Hope you all have a great day. We might be back tomorrow for another banding breakdown. Roof Crane says he only listens. He only does what I tell him to do in secret, but he's the one requesting a show every day. So we'll
Maybe
see
we're the ones
if
listening
that
to
happens
you. Yeah.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then as for the rest of the week, I think I'm going to be. We'll see. I might be out for the Wednesday Black Pill stream. I'm going to be traveling on Thursday, so I'm going to be getting up really early. So we just might cut it short. We'll see. It might just be an hour short and then go to bed later.
I'll have to say I'll be around Wednesday. I wasn't able to do last Wednesday because I had to go on with Wes on whatever Wednesday, but I'll be on the Black Pill stream for sure coming up this Wednesday. So we'll be Gucci.
Good times, yeah.
And then I'll also be on vacation.
Or around.
Yeah, we definitely love having you there. And then I'll also be on vacation next week, so Spencer will be taking the lead as well. And then I think the week after that too. We'll see. We'll see what happens. And I might pop in the chat or something. We'll see.
Are you going to the Vegas meetup with people?
No, I'm going to Florida to visit family and vacation, and then North Carolina to visit family. So no.
Catch some racing.
No, I don't think so. No, I'm actually going to be missing some of the big races. All right. Thank you all very much, and we will see you maybe tomorrow for another.
All right. Peace, my friends. Take it easy.